Yep, okay.
Okay. I'd like to call to order the Norwich special meeting of August 10th, 2021. A little late, 8:10 this evening. Apologies to anyone who was going to participate in the line. And our first item is agenda review.
Sorry about that. Me too.
I mean, no, it's good.
Yeah.
Okay. And since I had been in touch with Bree Swenson, our rec director, who wanted to participate in the MOU discussion, I may give a little more time and ask if we can switch the 4B additional kindergarten teacher to 4A. For first step discussion. Okay. And let's see. So still no public, right, Tom?
Yeah, no, I'm not seeing any.
Okay.
I can email her.
I've done that too. That's
Okay.
fine. But let's just go right into the additional kindergarten teacher discussion,
I
which
can
is,
explain.
yes. So, Sean,
So our current kindergarten enrollment is 43. We had one new one yesterday. I would advocate that we think about adding a third kindergarten teacher. I think actually 22 per class is a lot.
and
Also thinking about kindergarten has one existing teacher that will be there.
Yeah.
The other two would be new to our school.
Mhm.
So I think that might be another factor to consider.
and then obviously we know, do you want to talk to the budgetary implications? Sorry to put you on the spot.
You're looking at me?
Did you want to talk to reference any of the budgetary implications of, I mean, I think we know the general hiring is approximately 100K or so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on where you hire. It's gonna be in between, probably a low of 65 and a high of 100.
Yep.
But I think Sean was discussing that he may be able to make some movement with potential additional helpers. So that we could absorb probably 50% anyway. And some of the other hires you've made have additional savings quite a bit.
Okay. Any questions? This will be coming up for a vote in the action section. You have already, oh, sorry, just one thing. You have already posted for a potential hires or anything?
Posted for potential for the other one we're going to discuss tonight.
Okay. And
That
have you,
same kindergarten, so
and have you got a number of
I
applications?
have 0 applicants.
0 applications. Okay. How long has it been out there?
About a week.
Yeah, did you have a question?
Yeah, and it was just related to a potential motion here. I assume that, do we want to hire an additional or approve an additional kindergarten? No, I guess we do approve the additional. I'm thinking ahead to the hiring process of whether or not there's somebody in the building that you might want to move to kindergarten, which then would open up a spot in a different grade for the new hire. But that actually doesn't matter according to the language that we've got here, because we're not actually approving a specific person tonight. So a long-winded way of saying sorry, I didn't have a comment.
Okay. Does anyone else have comment or non-comment for this discussion? Sean?
I will just say that there is, depending upon the applicants, there could be a possibility of some moves within the building so that we have all of our classrooms staffed, and then moving out from there with other positions. I think it's a good point to think about.
Yeah, sorry, this is unrelated to hire, but we've actually got physical space in the building for this. I mean, we're talking about a whole new physical room, right, that we need for this.
Yep, we've made the space.
Other questions? All right, not seeing any. Let's move down the list. Unfortunately, I don't see, I didn't get a response from Bree yet, but maybe Jamie, could you lead us through the MOU? And my understanding is we're not actually going to approve of this tonight anyway, so this is more background information for us. And if Bree wants to join us at the next meeting when we would approve of it, she will have that opportunity. So.
Right, so we have a later meeting in August for Norwich. I think it's
August 19th.
19th, yeah. and quickly before my computer dies. So we've met about the Mill Fry Nature Area where we do outside learning classes. And so it's been on the radar for a little bit now about being able to make it safer for traveling out to the pavilion and the little fire ring. And I think it's K and 1 sections up there. So we went out again about a week ago to see if we could do this in a phased project, because the first one that they sent us wasn't really phased. And it was more clear for the gentleman on what we were trying to accomplish, because you know, there were some other folks who attended with us who had some helpful information. So they provided us, and I've made this one public because it's a phase 1 and so it needs to have a conversation here. And then it needs to go to the select board. I'm hoping Bree will be able to at least discuss it with them tomorrow. Because in order to try to get this done for use this year, which is somewhat critical to the programming for that age group, and be inclusionary of all of our students who have special needs, mobility needs, we really need to come to an agreement with the town on who and or how are we going to pay for the upgrades to the forest path area to get to the outdoor classrooms. And, you know, that will inform the MOU that we decide to sign. Bree had mentioned in one of her earlier emails that it might be better if the town were to approve this type of expenditure and upgrade, because it's the, you know, the forest falls under the town's purview, even though we have right of usage. And then perhaps come to some kind of agreement between the school district and the town for the use of the buildings without having, you know, monetary remuneration, you know, between the two. So that was the last discussion we had, but she hadn't formally taken that to the school board. But I wanted to share it with you folks here because time kind of is of the essence. There is a grant that's come out that the gentleman from Russell from Upper Valley Trails Alliance shared with Bree and myself. I think all of us actually. And Bree said she sent it to the town manager to see if the town would look at putting in for the grant. Because it said towns and schools could. I think it was a $20,000 grant, something like that. And I'm more than willing to, you know, try to write a grant for a portion of it if we want to do a matching or something. But it would be good if the school board could discuss that a little bit tonight and, you know, even a head nod and say, yeah, yes, we think this is important enough to, that will somehow either indirectly or directly help financially support it in some manner. That makes sense?
Yeah, I don't see the downside to, what's the downside to?
There isn't. It's just a
Okay.
matter of us.
Yeah,
The gentleman needs a contract
Yeah.
signed by somebody taking responsibility to pay for this. And so, you know, if you, and I can do that on behalf of the school district without a formal vote, but I would like a straw poll head nod that, you know, we're in it either way, which I think we are, you know, and I'm sure the town will want to embark on this as well. I mean, from Bree's standpoint in meeting with her, you know, she had taken the other idea to the town and shared it with the folks at the different town boards, and they were all, you know, very excited, I believe, about it. So this would be a phase 1, which would get the school district to where we need to be, you know, in the short term. And then perhaps look at the expanded other section that we talked about and looked at, which he's going to go back and write up in a phase 2. But we needed this one right away because they'd like to start as soon as possible, which would be the second, I think it's the second week of September.
And when I said there's no downside, I was talking about the grant specifically, but in terms of determining the payment plan and who goes, I mean, I do think it seems that we're in agreement that this needs to be done. I mean, I think it needs to be done for the school use too at this point in time.
Mhm.
So just to clarify there, that's my understanding. The other thing, you referenced the town committees, and that's in the email trail, there was reference that they needed to approve. It has, the Conservation Commission has approved of the.
They
phase
approved
plan.
of using Upper Valley Trails Alliance.
Okay.
Bree
So we've
was
got-
saying, Bree was saying if we were gonna try to do it with somebody that we contract with, like one of our other vendors, then they would have to go and be vetted by everybody at the town level. But Upper Valley Trails Alliance is already been approved. She spoke to Rod. He didn't see any need for permitting process, so they
And-
had the early conversations.
Please.
Yeah, just to clarify, so what we're looking at is what is in this August 10th letter. Okay, so just wanted to make sure,
Yeah,
because
that's the updated one.
Okay.
Yeah, from today.
there's a lot, you guys have been doing a lot of work, and I wanted to make sure I was looking
Yeah.
at the one that actually is what is happening.
Yes, this is the updated version that makes the most sense for where we really need to be.
Okay,
And so what you need from us is just that we need this done, but we'll figure out how the payment plan proceeds based upon the different phasing of it after this and before the signing of the MOU.
Correct.
But you need to have this contract signed by tomorrow,
Soon.
yesterday,
Yeah. If-
but
I mean,
before the August 19th. meeting.
yes, that would be good.
Yeah,
A few questions. So the grant that we spoke of, I'm taking a look at this. Would the grant likely cover the full cost of the project?
It could.
Okay. Do we have a sense of the likelihood of our ability to get the grant?
I don't, because I've never dealt with this, I'm looking for it now.
Okay, well, I don't need to know the specifics. I
Okay,
mean,
yeah,
would we otherwise be entertaining changes to the MOU were it not for this project?
yeah, it's due, well, I don't know about changes, but it is past due.
Oh, so it just needs to be at the very least, it needs to be re-upped for another
correct.
year
the very
reissued,
least.
yeah.
with no changes.
But you're right, if it wasn't for the expansion of, what we're trying to do in the forest, then the MOU probably may have already been, re-signed by now.
Right, with no changes, essentially.
Right.
Are we, so tonight, we're looking for approval from the board to enter into a contract with UBTA to do the work, or?
That's my understanding.
Not a formal approval, because I think that we could probably do that, but we'd like to know if you're on board with that idea so that we can actually get the work started. I'm assuming that the select board may not be able to do that as quickly as we can.
Right. Can I have a
Yep.
few more questions? Under what circumstances are we required to get multiple bids for something like this?
Under what circumstances? Only if it hits a certain dollar amount.
Okay,
And if you're using, if you were using federal grant monies, which that grant I do not believe is. I'll look into that. I'll double check that.
okay. And then I guess the one point that I'll make, which,
Even if it's,
I don't
even if
know.
it's a federal grant, it doesn't hit this part does not hit the ceiling of having to go after multiple quotes, because you can do a single source provider if it's a highly specialized circumstance that you're dealing with, which
yeah,
this, would-
honestly, my question was more because I didn't know our own policies
Yeah.
off the top of my head as it relates to
Yeah.
this type of project.
Yeah.
And then the last point I'll make is just really a minor one. Knowing where things are headed, you'll hear me say this again, right, with the potential for the waiting study, I'm loath to add to education spending
Mm.
if the alternative is for the town to take it.
Mhm.
I wouldn't hold it up over that.
right,
But if the option is there and it doesn't require that much additional work, shifting this cost to the town versus having it add to our education spending would be preferred.
Agreed. And I believe Bree agrees with you as well.
Mhm.
It's just a matter of timing.
Right.
If you're okay with, even if we both signed it together and then worked out the financing as even a match where we get a half a grant and they do the rest of it. I don't want to outlay cash from the school district either. I would write a grant to get the money.
Other questions? Tom, is there anyone online yet?
No.
Zoom, okay. I think, looking around the table, I think you've got your head nod. And if you need anything from any of us in further discussions with Bree or the town, let me know. And if she watches the tape later, my apology to Bree for keeping you waiting until now. And I'm happy to talk about this after the meeting.
And just so you know, the grant is, it's supported by Toyota Motor North America. It's the National Environmental Education Foundation, NEEF, NEEF. And you can request up to $20,000 for mobility and accessibility projects.
All right,
And can I just ask a quick question about the MOU?
sure.
Like pretending that this other thing wasn't happening, is there anything about this MOU we signed in September of last year that we ran into trouble with that would need to be changed? So you're good if we just kept going?
Yes.
Okay.
It's, I think from the town standpoint, if they have the funds where they can embark on this journey and take the lead, I think Bree was hoping to go to the select board and come to the school board and say, if we embark on this, would you let us use the buildings in lieu of us embarking on this without having money change hands?
Okay, great, thank you.
Is there need for any of us to be at the select board meeting tomorrow? Is it tomorrow night? I haven't seen it posted.
It is, I think it is tomorrow night, and it would be great if one of you could attend, because I'm in Hanover meeting tomorrow night.
Okay. It's 6:30.
I might be able to.
Okay. I'll check in with Bree in the meantime and
Yeah.
see what might be necessary. All right. Topic. Sean, did you have anything you wanted to add about the? I know you've been part of the discussions.
No, all I had is from a program perspective, I've talked to our kindergarten teacher, and we're not, because of equity issues, we're not going to be using the forest until that part of the trail is put in, because it just doesn't seem like the right thing to do. And she's fine with that, we can work around it.
Okay. All right. With that, I think we can move into our business requiring action. Obviously, we don't have the need for an approval for the MOU at this point in time, but we do still have the need for approval of kindergarten teacher with an additional teacher position. So if someone would like to entertain a motion, Lisa,
Move to approve the additional kindergarten teacher as presented.
second by Kelly, and all those in favor? Yes, thank you. And with that, we do have need for an executive session, and someone would like to read the language there and move us in, please.
Motion to enter into executive session in accordance with Title I, Section 313 for the purposes of discussing personnel.
Thank you. Have a second. Kelly, and I'll do roll call starting with Lisa.
Christie, yes?
Garrett? Paul, yes. Kelly?
Percy, yes.
Neil?
Odell, yes.
And Candy, yes. And we have already re-entered public session, so we can move on to item 7B. I'm sorry, Tom, I give you a heads up. Are we ready?
Yeah, you're all good.
Okay, and we can move on to 7B, approve leave of absence and resignations, and we do have some language to that. So if anyone would like to motion that, Neil.
Sure. Motion to approve the resignation of Lynn Lador and Pam Hausler with thanks for their service at Marion Cross as presented, as well as recommend approving a 1-year unpaid leave of absence for Ashley Morse. Benefits will be provided by the district in accordance with provisions outlined in the Norwich Collective Bargaining Agreement through September 30th, 2021.
Thank you. A second. Kelly, all of those in favor? It's unanimous, and yes, thank you to all of those. And let's move on to approval of new hires. And let's see. We don't necessarily have language, so if we could go back into the executive sessions to get the names of those folks, I think that worked. Neil,
Move to approve Jane Glick as the school nurse. for Marion Cross.
1.0 FT, yes. Seconded by Kelly, and all those in favor? Yes, thank you. And Neil, if we want to continue with the learning specialists?
Yep, move to approve Alicia Sharp as a 1.0 learning specialist for Marion Cross.
Seconded by Kelly again. All those in favor? Yes, thank you again. Thank you to our new hires. Thank you to those leaving after a number of years. Thank you to Sean and the many people who've been participating in the hiring committees. And good luck with a couple more hires. And agenda topics for the next meeting. This is a special meeting, so our next meeting is the regular meeting of August, a bit of a different time, August 19th. Any agenda topics, do let us know. We've crafted an agenda thus far, but if there's anything people would like added, please do either now or in the meantime. And with that, I think we can look to adjourn this special meeting if there's a motion. So Kelly,
I move to adjourn at 8:52 PM.
second by Lisa, and all those in favor. Unanimous again. Thank you very much.